This conference will now be recorded.
The Tides Grove Town Board will hold a joint public meeting on Monday, November 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall. You also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. Meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have the minutes of our last meeting in your packet.
Move approval as presented.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the minutes for November 6th as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
This goes around his session minutes.
In session.
Move approval and keep them closed until everything's settled.
Second.
Motion by Andrews, second by Williams to approve the closed session minutes and keep them closed until the matters are settled. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Finance report and approval of bills.
There's some expensive tires you got.
Yeah. Tire prices have gone way up.
No tires are cheap.
No,
What's that?
I said obviously.
Yeah,
So is this for all of them or
6 on one truck, yeah,
6 on one truck?
yeah.
The first check number is wrong. It should be 36679.
That's what it is, isn't it?
No,
No, it's
my
366.
report- My report, it's not.
36679.
This one is wrong, but
Holy cow, that is expensive.
Is it what we normally spend on fuel? Is that the same?
Same.
I'll move approval of paying checks 36679 through 36712 be paid. And we make EFT payments of $13,048.74.
And
Oh, and avoided check number 3666.
motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fauger to approve checks 36,679 through 36,712 and the EFT payment of $13,048.74. And that check 36,666 was voided. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You have the unaudited cash investment balance of $2,441,214.06 in your packet. And you have the October building permit.
Which I will move approval of as presented.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the October building permits as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is public concerns, public's opportunity to speak to the town board about any subject that's not specific agenda item. Anyone online? No? Then we'll move on to review the October police activities.
It's been a while since I've done this. I think 2 years maybe. So there's nothing really significant that stands out. Eric completed training. So he's on with me now. All of the, I think he started with me the 10th. So he trained for 2 days with me about how the town does things. And then, so considering there's 2 of us, and then the county backing us up, handling 158 out of 224 calls is fairly good. Between the 2 of us, we've had 84 stops. There's other calls, some other calls who tie us up quite a bit. I think that weapons violation was one I went to. Yeah, it was actually. So yeah, like calls like that significantly tie our day up, but overall, we're still doing quite a bit of work for 2 of us being on. Sean's ready to come on. He's just waiting for his date. And then as far as the citations go, and I always write that when I do the stats that they might be misleading a little bit because it's like the contract does this and all calls, but all calls do include us. And same with the citations. We wrote 115 out of 139 total in the contract. With speeding obviously being the biggest issue. But yeah, there's quite a bit, obviously, that, it's still going on. The speed boards are giving us good information as far as where the issues are. The Warm Belly speed board that's off of Vilas Hope. So we have it at the post on the 35, but it's picking up the 45 zone. So some of the speeds are going to look higher, like if they're doing 50, which is probably what they're doing in the 45 zone. Obviously, there's some 76s in there, which is pretty ridiculous, but we're watching for them. Eric's found some new hiding places he likes over there, so I don't think he's missing too much. So if you haven't seen him, you will. And other than that, yeah, we didn't have any issues like there was anticipated with their fall festival in October. There was an increased traffic, so next year, if they're worried about
Parking
that.
Problems on the road.
No, I don't think I ever saw anybody park on the road, and I think they have ample parking. It's a pretty deep parking lot.
Yeah.
And then as far as, obviously I saw the last meeting that, enforcement needs to be done on certain roads. We're doing everything, and we're out on all the roads equally. Just because you don't see us doesn't mean we're not there.
Did we move the one speed board sign?
To Vilas?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. And it's there. It's obviously working. It's still not showing the problem to be too.
Recorded.
And well, Steve I just printed him a rough copy of today of the last 32 days that board has been there, and it's not showing a significant problem.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be traffic where you get one car here or there that is going to go exceedingly fast, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
The majority of our problems, though, right now are the Vilas Hope area, Baxter, and especially Gaston. I don't think the new apartments have increased traffic on Vilas. I'm seeing a lot of people are actually avoiding Violas. They're actually going down Bus to the light because they'd rather not have to wait in line. So anybody that's trying to make a left turn off Violas is not going down. They're not going to go that way. They're going to take Bus. So, but we did find today that in the last 32 days, I think 11,800 cars went down.
Yeah,
Violas.
11,694 cars in 32 days on Violas between Gaston and BB.
Man.
But it's a lot of the same people coming and going.
Yeah.
Or the work, yeah, it's a lot, but, and then we counted, I think it was only like 175 that were actually exceeding the speed limit to the point where we would cite them. So out of 11,000 cars, that's showing that we're present, we're doing our job.
10%.
Okay.
So,
And usually we hear like, we knew you were gonna get us when we pull people over and just like, leave the house. We plan on running into one of you. So we're doing the best we can, but like I said, I mean, traffic enforcement is obviously a priority for the town. We also have other calls. We can't help it if we get called. Calls for service are obviously our priority. And then when we got downtime, we'll sit there and run our radars or a laser and we'll be doing reports at the same time on the side of the road. So we're always either showing a presence or trying to deter. I was on your road earlier tonight. You probably saw. But then I got asked if I had anything better to do than pick off people doing stop sign violations when I should be getting the speeders. And I can't do it all. Like if you're running a stop sign, you're getting a ticket. If you're speeding, you know, and we're doing like, and you know, I said if anybody, you know, has any like critiques over anything that we're doing, like I said, we tried the speed bumps, didn't work.
Yeah.
The stop signs seem to be slowing people down, so that's good.
At least they're slowing down.
Yeah, and they know that we sit there. I basically have tire marks in the road where I sit. I'm there all the time. So
I know, I see it.
if they do act different, but we can't help behavior for when we're not around. The speed board's picking it up. I think the top speed on Sandpiper might have been like an outrageous like 51 maybe, I think I saw, but like that was one car and the rest are about 44 if they're like excessively fast. It's still not okay. But you know, we're trying to be out there as much as we can.
Yeah.
I'm not the one complaining.
No, I know you support it. I get it. I appreciate that. But yeah, we're doing the best we can. So
Okay.
any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see everybody.
I've seen you.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the details.
Yeah, no problem.
Next item is discuss and consider approval of development agreement for Swalheim Business Park. And the only thing we're waiting for on that is the letter of credit.
Correct. I don't have the surety amount from Nick. The agreement, if you wish to pass it tonight, you could. The agreement just says that it'll be in an amount approved by the town engineer. And the developer's attorney is fine with it.
We're fine with that.
Fine with it?
Yeah.
I'll move approval of the developers agreement for Swalheim Business Park.
Motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger to approve the developers agreement for the Swalheim Business Park as presented. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is discuss and consider emergency government committee recommendation for applying for the, let's see, what's that called?
FY.
Program, the BRIC program for 23 funding to rebuild the portion of Ridge Road that floods frequently. And that had been listed on our hazards in the county's plan. And you saw in there, they pay 75%, 25% would be ours. And let's see, the initial application fee from Chuck Non was what? $600 to $1,000.
680 to 1020.
Yeah. And the rough estimate is that it would cost $800,000 if we did it in 24.
What I can't find is how quick does reimbursement happen?
Yeah, it says it's yearly, but they don't say,
What year?
Yeah.
yeah, that they
I don't
send you
know.
the money.
Chuck seemed to think it would be pretty quick. Ryan's request from Town and Country said he hasn't had experience with this particular one, but he knows sometimes they can take a while. So that's a lot of money to be sitting out. I don't know. I'd like to have the answer to that better.
I think we should know that first.
But we really don't have any time
Yeah,
because this application has to be in by the 29th.
Well, if we do, well, it would cost us between 680 and 1020 just to get the app in.
yeah.
And then, and if we chose not to do it, we'd be out to 680 to 1020 then.
Which
So-
is terrible.
20%, you said?
25, 75, 25.
So, okay.
So ours would be 200,000.
200,000 plus or minus.
Yeah, that's,
Usually
if you
plus.
do it in 24, if you do it any year after, you add another 40 or 50,000.
But we're looking at,
Plus and
Yeah.
never minus, I
Yeah.
should say.
is there another place we can get some more money from the state or something?
Not that I know of. And I didn't see that it said that you couldn't use other money. You have the approved hazard mitigation plan that you guys all approved. That was a requirement.
Oh, it's only gonna be 680 to 1020 to find out. I don't,
Yeah, obviously, we don't have to take it. But
yeah.
we find out the rules are, you're not gonna get the money
back
for,
for 10 years.
yeah.
True.
And, you know, the opportunity was sent to lots of places, so who's to say we would get it?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
We got millions.
There's billions.
Yeah, there's
They had $1 million in
They have
this
$1
one.
million.
Okay. So we should have a better chance.
Well, I mean,
So-
it's like, it's only $800,000.
So if you want to do it, you need to make a motion to approve it and to approve Chuck Non's fee and maybe use undesignated funds to cover his fee.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Motion by Fonger, second by Duplay to approve Chuck Non to do the initial application for the brick funds
yes.
using undesignated funds to cover Chuck's expense. Any discussion on that? Hearing all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is discuss and consider approval of the lockbox service agreement for tax collection.
It's really the same agreement that we've had year after year. They just changed it from the former treasurer to me, and also the person at the bank has changed too.
And it's worked out well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We would not want to stop doing that. It's
No.
a huge difference.
I
I'll
do
move
approve.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the lockbox service agreement for tax collection as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public Works Department, report on road right-of-way permits.
Haven't had any road right-of-way permits for a while. Other than that, plow equipment's on.
And restoration work is satisfactory so far?
They've been doing a good job. Abigail's been reaching out to me quite often, and Mr. Tui from Alliant Energy has let me know when they're gonna start stuff. So it's actually going really good. Alliant Energy is the only one we're really dealing with right now. Charter's just got that blanket one out there. And then there's a couple other ones I gotta check on. I just got some emails, but yeah, everything's been going really smooth with that. So it's going good.
Okay, nothing else?
Nope.
Clerk treasurer.
I went to a training last week, the county clerk put on, that was a tabletop exercise with scenarios where clerks and election workers and voters are all threatened and what we should be doing in those situations. So it was mainly, it was something that you don't like to think about, but I guess we need to. And so the main take-home message was to talk to our law enforcement officers, make sure that they understand what we're doing here and we understand what they would need to do in a situation like that. And I've already kind of reached out for that. The other thing is to reach out to the attorney and make sure that they're going to have somebody available always on election day, because if you ended up having to close the polling place, you need to get a court order to keep it open longer later so that you have enough hours. So that was fun. Let's see, the audit is scheduled for February 5th and 6th. I guess, other than that, just lining up all the ducks so that we're ready to send in tax bill documents and get them printed as soon as possible after our public hearing on the 4th.
All right. Board reports and communications. On the December 4th agenda, I will have this EMS agreement. You and Mike, take a look at it, read it. If you have questions, it'll be on the December 4th agenda for you to take any action. Those of us that had gone to the DCTA meeting at Town of Dunn, and that was in September. We had Dane County Public Health talk to us about PFAS. And there are 19 farms in the township that have used Metro Grow as PFAS. Is that something you would want to have a meeting and invite Dane County Health to tell them what they're getting and invite them to that meeting, or do we just drop it?
I think it'd be good to have a meeting and invite
Wait,
them.
you know, there's.
Well, the
How many
problem is
farms are there? 19?
19.
19.
farms, correct, but there's no inexpensive way to test. They don't know how far it's spread, if at all. So in other words, you can get ask a lot of questions, and you'll get a lot of this from them because they just don't know. And obviously, any detection is not good, you know, whether it's on that farm field where it was originally applied or in my well, say, for example.
Yeah.
Not that I could afford to have it tested. And there's nothing that I can do to speak of to do anything about it once it is. And the guy basically said, ignorance is bliss right now, it truly is. Because of the fact there's nothing you're gonna do to remediate it. They actually don't even have a standardized level as to what is a dangerous level of PFAS. Because PFAS has been around for 40 years and it's just now becoming on the forefront because of the firefighting foam and a couple of other things. And because of that, the government regulatory agencies are kind of scratching their heads trying to figure out, okay, what's
Now that we've deemed it cancer causing.
Right, I
How
mean,
can we do
well,
anything?
what is a dangerous level of PFAS? I mean, everything in a high enough level could be dangerous, you know, in the same way goes with PFAS. And so,
I think the state is trying to regulate what the federal government has not regulated yet.
correct, except for the fact they don't have
Yeah.
a level yet.
Yeah, there's just not enough information.
But we might be able to get Dane County to do some free testing in the township. Because they had done some.
Correct, they had done, it was under a dozen is
Yeah.
all, because of the fact it was thousands of dollars per test.
For tests.
600, between 600 and 800, wasn't it?
It's
Depending on which PFAS they were looking for.
correct. And so I guess the way I look at it is that I don't want to create panic, you know, from the standpoint of, okay, yes, there's Metro growing in fields. There has been for decades. And now all of a sudden people are going to hear the word PFAS and, you know, people are going to potentially overreact because of that fact. And until there is
Some kind of level of
well,
established.
some sort of concrete, okay, this much is dangerous, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a random sampling. I mean, they had only done less than a dozen throughout the entire county, you know, and how many thousands of wells are there? And matter of fact, some of those that the county tested are actually in the city of Madison. So it's not even a totally 100% representative sampling. And I'm not trying to minimize PFAS, you know, Lord knows, when I was in the military, I took enough PFAS baths out at the base when the fire extinguisher system would activate inadvertently. But at the same point in time too is, I don't want to cause undue panic, not necessarily panic, but undue alarm because of the fact nobody can answer the questions that might come up as a result of this. The guy had a difficult time answering the questions even of the members of the Towns Association that were there at Dunn. You know, I mean, you guys, that was just my 2 cents. If you want to have somebody here, I of course will support it, but
Well, I guess the only thing we know for sure is if it's put on there, sooner or later, it's going to be in the water supply.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to degrade and it's going to work its way down to the water source.
okay, so we have a list of 19 farms. And you can plot those on a map with for the lands and everything. And then what? Gonna cause people to,
Well, I guess farmers should at least know what they're getting along with that free fertilizer or cheaper fertilizer as
So
far as
why
what
can't
the PFAS are.
Dane County just check it at the plant? Why would you check the farms? I mean, if you want to know what's in the stuff, I
well,
mean,
they already know there's PFAS.
but you know what I mean? But I mean,
But they don't know what levels.
and
are
they don't
safe.
know there's so many different kinds and just
Yeah.
You know, so they
There are a
test
lot
for
of
one,
different
there's another 500 of them, you know? And basically what it is, it's just minute particles of like cellulose and just,
What was it? Parts
Stuff that-
per trillion?
yeah, it's
Parts
just,
per trillion.
Trillion.
and they don't know if that is an important number even. So I mean,
They
it's
just
tough,
have
it's a
the-
tough thing.
And they have the ability, because of just the extent of the type of equipment that they have in the labs, they're just able to, you know, extend the testing to the point where they're able to knock it out to the, well, you know, parts per trillion. So
I was
No, I-
wondering if we wanted to pursue that at all.
I don't know if we should. I mean,
I mean, everybody knows about it now, but I mean, it just, you
It's
know,
basically because of Madison, yeah.
no, I'm just saying about
But you
that
know what
the
I mean?
farmers,
That's where this all came up, big time.
yes.
From the airport.
Has Metro Grow notified all the farmers that they've spread? sludge
I'm
crop?
unaware of whether they did or
I
not,
have no
or have or
idea.
have not.
I mean, I think that's
Had a
where,
hard time getting the list from them.
I don't know if you're gonna, because aren't they selling this? I mean,
Yeah, there's some
value or?
to it.
Excuse
for
me,
what they spread.
they notified me and I have never spread.
Pardon?
They notified me and I have never spread.
really,
No, like last week.
You got a letter last week?
I've never put it on.
That there was PFAS found in the product.
They just gave me the big letter, what's going on.
so,
Okay, so that answers that.
So it's
question.
getting out there, the information.
okay. So would you assume from that all the farmers are getting this letter in Dane County?
Could have probably used it in the past, but
Don't know.
Thank you. Let's table it for now.
Okay. Then my last question is, I was thinking of a second meeting in January. If you want to have ATV, UTVs on the agenda.
Nope.
yep. Absolutely.
I think we have to have it on the agenda. So let's
Okay,
wait until then.
I will do that. So I've been asked to skip committee reports and go to closed session next. Is that all right with the board?
Sure.
Chris, if I could, before you straight, if the purpose of it is, and I'm not maybe clear, to discuss with the developer issues on the agreement with the developer, that can't be done in closed session. We need to do that in open session. If the point is to discuss our internal negotiating strategy outside of their presence, then we should do that in closed session. But maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was to discuss between the two of us issues that we have in the agreement. So that would be done in open session.
I don't have it listed, you know.
It can be, you have it on the agenda though, in closed session. You can just not go into closed session
Okay.
on that issue and we can discuss it.
So it would be for deliberation, negotiation, or conducting specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons for the developer's agreement with RG Houston Company Incorporated.
So moved.
But we're not going.
We're not going into
Let's
closed.
do it.
Oh, okay.
And we take care of Mr. Swalheim already.
Yes,
That's all done.
Dwayne's done. We did that on
With
the
the,
second one.
okay.
That'll be signed, sir, and sent over to you probably tomorrow. or
Well,
next.
we
Okay.
need the letter of credit before we sign it. so.
No, because the agreement just says a letter of credit in an amount determined by the town attorney.
So we can sign that in the morning.
Well, I don't think we need a notary. We'll have to wait for Amber on Wednesday.
Okay.
Needs a notary.
Wednesday.
I think it does. It does.
She won't be until Wednesday. So it'll be Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
So I did talk to the Houstons about having Bill do the research on kids, and I was turned down on that. And I did ask Town and Country to check with MMSD if they would allow us to, if we had it in and we don't have enough flow, to have someone like DeVore or Honeywagon, whoever, dump there and then we pump it in. And they said, no, you can't do that.
No.
So the question really is, if we build it, it's not operational because we don't have enough flow yet, can we still form a TID? And we don't know that. So I would be looking for maybe the board, town board to approve spending that money, have Bill find out if we build it and it's not hooked, functioning yet because of not enough flow, can we still create a tip?
And that was the $1,000 to $4,000.
Yeah,
Money.
undesignated.
Okay.
I think we have to. I think we want to.
Well, we have to know. We have to have an answer.
Because if you can't do the TID,
It doesn't play to do anything then. You know,
yeah,
Well, everybody would look to have to
So if
look
it's
to
not
doing
operational,
things another way.
where,
That's all.
then what does that mean? That they have to have a septic system until it's operational?
No,
Until there's enough flow?
I think what we're talking about is that the TIS statute requires that the area be served by septic. So what Chris is suggesting is we build the interceptor to it, TIF it all, but since there's not enough flow to go through the pipe, the property owner doesn't dispense into the interceptor. They hold it and transport it until enough development arises that we get enough flow where it all then would go through the pumps in the interceptor. And the issue is whether or not that would satisfy the TIF
But
statute.
didn't you find out that MMSD wouldn't accept it? So where would they go with it?
we'd have to haul it into MMSD.
Oh, that's not what Town and Country found out they wouldn't accept? I must have misunderstood that.
No, I was asking them if, like Dvorak or Honeywagon, instead of hauling it into MMSD, they hauled it to our pumping station
Oh,
and added it to our flow so that we would get up to enough flow to be able to pump it. And they said no.
okay.
They wouldn't allow that.
No.
Did we ever get an estimate from Paul Davis as to what their discharge would be?
it's gonna be a lot less than what.
Yeah,
Got
they,
20 some odd employees there.
And they're wanting to expand.
well,
That's what they said.
it's not their number of employees, it's the amount of laundry that they do, according to Dvorak. And they're at about 4,000 gallons a week right now.
That's not a lot.
That's what he's hauling on a weekly basis, roughly.
And that's just gray water, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would imagine too.
What's that?
I would think there's using some chemicals to
That, and there's black water.
clean
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something that we need to know the answer of. Yes, if you think we can afford it, I'd be willing to make the motion.
You can afford it.
So he said it was gonna be $1,000 to find out if it's worth spending the extra $3, right?
Right.
So I don't see why we would stop right now without spending that $1,000, is what my point is. I mean,
Yeah, in fairness, I think what I said was, it would take about $4,000 worth of time to get an answer, or the fact that there isn't an answer. But, 3 hours into the research,
You're gonna have a
we're gonna
pretty
have
good
a pretty
idea.
good gut check, is it worth investing more time in it, or should we just cut it off now? Because if the answer is gonna be clearly no, there's no sense, doing a full-blown research issue on it.
Would it be okay if I offered a proposal on behalf of the Houstons?
Sure, and your name?
My name is Chris Smith. I'm representing them. I'm an attorney from Von Briesen and Roper. Hi. Good evening to everybody. I have not had an opportunity to speak with Bill. We've traded phone calls, but I'm following what you're saying right now. I have a lot of experience with TID, with representing municipalities that created TIDs. My gut feeling, without obviously doing a lot of research into this prior to hearing your discussion, is that there's a way to do this. My proposal would be, I would be happy to research it and write a memo to send to your lawyer for him to review and obviously confirm my opinion. And that may save you some money on attorney's fees, because obviously Houston's are paying mine. And we have a lot of experience at my firm with this topic.
Is that okay with you,
Sounds good to me.
Bill?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
And not that he's not gonna,
Double check
put
it.
time in,
Yeah.
but maybe it'll save a little bit for the town.
Yeah.
Two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go for it.
and with experience in this area.
Yes, this
That
is
we
all, this
don't
is
have.
pretty much all I do.
Yeah.
And we have some people at my firm that are big TID nerds, that bill even at a lower rate than me. So, I'll get them to look into it as well. But I'm going to contact Bill if that's okay, just to make sure I have a good grasp of the issue that we're talking about. I think I do, but I'll get a hold of you if that's
I'm in all
okay.
day tomorrow. If you want to give me a call, we can talk to you.
Perfect. And then I can get going on that. And beyond that, I have reviewed the latest draft of the development agreement, and I think I'll need to discuss some things with Bill. But I think, assuming we can clear this hurdle about the sewer issue and whether or not a TID can be created, I think we can find a path here that gets to what I believe is the best result from the government standpoint, which is having a development pay for infrastructure that benefits
Everyone.
people outside of the development as well. So I think we can get there. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
So I'm going to confer with our lawyer and Bill's use his time to review it, whatever that cost is. If he can save us money, I say we go for it.
Is that your motion?
Yes, go for it.
Motion by Duplay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders to have our attorney work with Houston's
Their
attorney on determining the feasibility of
Establishing a TID district.
establishing a TID. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
What else can we do?
Bill and I will talk and we'll go from there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Back
Thank
to
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
emergency or committee reports, emergency government committee.
Oh,
Looks like we're gonna have our, we got what Dane County's gonna give us for our tabletop demonstration.
And that's going to be December
12th, yeah,
5 p.m.
Yeah,
just 2 hours. Probably less, it'll be very simple tabletop.
Are you going to?
And, I'm not sure if we are gonna need anybody else there, probably not. Other than our committee.
Not,
Well, I'm not sure unless somebody'd like to be there. Kim, I don't know if you,
Dan?
If you need me, I will. I don't,
I'll have to,
I don't.
I'm waiting for him to get back to me from Dane County right now.
You let me know.
Yeah, will do. You be ready to drive a truck? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a joke.
Are you available?
What date? The
Well,
12th?
Second Tuesday.
we probably just need your,
Or just
it could
even
be
if we could get
available by phone.
on the phone, that would work as well. We got the 4 points from Dane County Emergency Government. So these are the 4 things that they're gonna.
It's gonna be about a tornado on 12 and 18
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in the township. And that's what it's gonna be about. So, yeah, we already looked into this. That's part of our mitigation plan.
It's gonna go right through Chris's house.
Yes.
It's gonna hit the storage facility, so everybody's belongings are gonna be scattered all over the highway.
You need fire.
I will talk to them if we need them. I don't think so, actually, so. It's not gonna be that complicated. It's gonna.
It shouldn't
just
be, it
about
should be fairly easy
what
for
we
us
do,
to.
who we would call, and so on and so forth. So,
Just
we've done pretty much everything with the equipment and TVs and phones and radios, and I mean, everything is working.
Should be able to.
Wi-Fi, generate, tower, everything.
Okay.
You ready on the 12th?
I have my phone on me.
Deerfield EMS.
Other municipalities have already discussed this intergovernmental agreement, proposed changes. And it's been on the agenda for the last couple of meetings for discussion. And I did not say anything at our last meeting because we haven't discussed it here at this table, but Chris gave it out to everyone. So I look forward to our conversation, first meeting in December 4th. I think I shared with you all what I had shared at the Deer Grove EMS meetings earlier this year, how I feel.
Did you say that Deerfield and the village signed it?
Deerfield has agreed at the meeting a week ago tonight to sign the intergovernmental agreement with the proposed changes. The main change is how it's going to be funded. It's always been on equalized value.
Yep.
That's going to be one factor now, also factored in is population and calls. And the interesting thing is with this new formula, the town of Cottage Grove will actually pay less, about $30,000.
And you're saying the village thinks that's good?
They're the ones arguing for it, and they knew when they were arguing for it that they were going to pay.
So they think in the long run, there's gonna be a big difference then?
Well,
I don't know that they think that there's gonna be a big difference. I think
On
that
the
it's
fourth,
as just the.
after everybody has
Read
read
it, yeah.
Yeah, to be clear, this is a draft and hasn't been approved by anybody.
Okay.
Continue on.
Okay, at our last meeting for Deer Grove EMS, we learned that they were trying to hire more because that's part of our plan to expand and continue with the goal of having 2 ambulances staffed 24/7. Now, it's always staffed 24/7 in Cottage Grove, and Deerfield has about 75% staffing.
80
80.
is about.
Ish.
There were only 3 days last month that they didn't
Right.
have any.
It's very good. Anyway, they are trying to hire from the casual staff, but it's not as simple as they thought it would be because surrounding districts have a higher starting salary for new hires than Deer Grove. So that's something we may have to look at for the future. What Eric is trying to work out is with MATC to have next person on staff to try and encourage the students that are currently involved in this program to guarantee a ride along with them with Deer Grove EMS in exchange for a seat in class. Try and get more people trained, ready to become staff members for it. That's the main news. At least they're having people applying now. so that you're getting more applicants for digital. For a while, it was just, no one was responding. So that's the good news.
How far down are we, chief, pay wise?
That's a complicated answer.
It all depends on how you look at number of hours worked in pay period.
I'd say when you look at simply the hourly pay, we're competitive. Our disadvantages were in contract negotiations, where we seem to always have been the first one to negotiate a new contract. So that's advantageous when you're the first to negotiate because you get to use everyone else's as a comparable. Well, when you're the first to negotiate and settle a contract, now you become the new comparable. So by the hour, we're close, but because our working average is 42 hours per week as opposed to 48, you can see when you add in 24 hours of overtime per month, that adds up fast at the end of the year. So generally speaking, we've been attempting to attract older, more experienced paramedics who have jobs elsewhere. Imagine if the starting salary, and I don't know exact starting salary, but let's say it's low 60s to start at Sun Prairie for a paramedic. For 2024, our starting salary is going to be about $51,000. So as you go through year 4, we're at 57, 58,000. They're up into the 70s at Sun Prairie. So even if we offer some type of lateral transfer, it's going to have to be fairly significant to make up that difference. Especially early in people's career, they don't necessarily look at, oh, I'm going to make the same per hour. What most employees look at is what they're going to, what the tax statement says at the end of the year. That, you know, employees that I've talked to in Sun Prairie for last year, they made over $100,000 gross. Wow. Well, we're trying to talk them to come to us for half that. So we fight a losing battle there, especially the people that would appreciate fewer working hours are those that are longer in the tooth in regard to employment years. So moral of the story is we're comparable, but we're not, unless we switch to have more overtime, which none of the current employee group wants. So why would we ever do that? We'll always have we'll have a gap in annual pay.
Then I want to talk about Chamber of Commerce. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay.
About what?
Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
I have 2 meetings to share about because I couldn't talk at our last meeting. So the Village of Cottage Grove Library had a presentation 2 meetings ago, and they have these lovely cards that highlight programming that they've had. And the programming that's been done, the person who's programming it actually lives in the town of Cottage Grove. And speaking of the library program had an overnight, a teddy bear overnight at Deer Grove EMS. A teddy bear sleepover that was highly successful, was signed up, filled up very, very quickly, and was very popular with the young set and the parents that participated. Another part of Chamber is they are having Christmas in the Grove parade Friday, December 1st. This might be something that Warren Belly might be interested in participating in. So I will contact them about that. John Russell has finished his term as chair of the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and he has done an excellent job of building a program that really incorporates everyone and makes a strong effort to build camaraderie. And I wanted to share that I make a point of sitting next to someone I've not met at each meeting or try to. And the person I sat next to at the last meeting was Debbie Armstrong. And she has a program that is for children with special needs, and it's giving them extra sensory experiences. And I said, what is your background? I was a special ed teacher. I said, well, where is your office? And she says, well, it's actually off Atlas Avenue. I said, well, why are you in the Cottage Grove Chamber of Commerce then? And she said, because I live in Cottage Grove. And then she said, I actually live in the town of Cottage Grove. She lives on Sunset Ridge. And turns out there are a lot of people that are involved in the chamber that live in the town of Cottage Grove. And the Cottage Grove Community Foundation, also the president of it is Heath Strucker. He lives in the town.
Yeah.
And the vice president, who's also on your emergency government committee.
Is your board?
No, woman who used to be at the school.
Carrie Robbins.
Thank you.
She's in what?
She's vice president
Parks
of
Committee.
the.
She's on the Parks Committee, not Emergency
Yeah,
Government.
she's not.
Oh, Parks, sorry, I knew she was on one of the committees. Anyway, she's vice president of the Cottage Grove Community Foundation that is related to the Cottage Grove Chamber.
Well, that's John Russell.
Right,
Yeah.
it's John Russell who's pulling everybody to get into all these things. So just wanted to give an update that.
Just a question for you. The library set up to have a veterans talk to kids. And they put a lot of effort into it, and 6 kids showed up. All the people that were there to read, they just read a book and that was it, and it was over.
No.
Yeah, it was just nobody showed up.
I went to a program this summer, and where was it held?
I must have been in the, where the police station is there, I presume. That was too bad.
It was too bad. I went to one of the programs that was set up in the shelter next to Taylor Prairie School. In that part. Crowded.
I don't know what happened with this one.
I am sad. That's too bad. That would have been wonderful for the kids to learn from a veteran. The other thing that came out at this is that some of the rebar and a couple other things, screw from 9/11, the towers, has been given to the rugby, and they're asking the chamber to help them develop a memorial. I mean, it seems really, according to them, 23 rugby players died in 9/11 in the towers.
Oh, Jesus.
So they think there should be some sort of a monument commemorating the rugby players.
Well, they should be in New York then.
Yeah.
Well, no, they want it next to the big rugby facility here in this park.
I'm sure they were from New York,
Yeah.
the people that were killed.
They weren't all actually necessarily. I asked John to share some of the information. He did after the meeting last Thursday, and they weren't all from New York. Although they were certainly not from Cottage Grove either. So, but that was different. So, thank you.
Question, Steve, did Dane County Council have an executive board meeting last week?
Yes, we did.
They talk about curbside?
Yes,
Or
we did.
maybe you could tell me after the meeting then what they talked about.
Yeah, what Pfeiffer was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Move we adjourn. Motion by Duplay,
Second.
second by Williams. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good Thanksgiving.